Hey everyone, this is Tori Lockhart from Social Work 340, and this is going to be my presentation for my research and practice paper. So for my agency, I chose Clark County Protection and Permanency since that's where I'm at for 390. And a little bit about my agency. The whole objective of protection and permanency is to protect children who are at risk for physical or psychological harm while trying to keep the family system together throughout the process. Protection and permanency, they really recognize that removing kids from the home is really traumatic for the kid. So they try not to do that unless it's absolutely the best option. So the mission statement for Clark County is to protect children and vulnerable adults and to promote self-sufficiency and permanency by providing the best regulatory framework and state plan structure possible. Our mission is also to ensure maximum flexibility for interpretation and implementation of policy and procedures which best meets the needs of the community. Some of the services that Clark County provides include the START program, which stands for Sobriety, Treatment, and Recovery Team. So this kind of helps clients or caregivers who are struggling with substance abuse to kind of get them back on their feet instead of just taking kids away for that reason. They actually try to help the client instead of just throwing them under the bus. They also have the Independent Living Program, which is they assist like young adults or older teens, so like 18 to 22 years old, with getting on their feet for the first time. They get them an apartment and all that fun stuff. And then they also have the Child and Family Service Plans. The client base for Clark County DCBS Protection and Permanency mostly consists of parents and caregivers who are in the need of assistance with child care. And in Clark County, the main presenting problem right now is drugs or substance abuse. So most of the problems that we deal with there have to do with that. And for the budget, it is not public knowledge but it is state funded, so we do know that. And it does have an exact budget, and I know that it is tight. So for the means of evaluation at Clark County DCBS, we use the biopsychosocial assessment. They use assessment documentation tools, which is the ADTs, and then the self-made checklists and prevention plans. So the self-made checklist, each caseworker kind of creates their own checklist with the client to go through, and they kind of keep track, and like whenever a client goes and just take a drug test or they go and meet with a counselor or something, they'll like check it off and just to kind of help keep them in order, the caseworker to keep it organized in their head to see where their client is at. They also make a prevention plan for the clients when they first meet them. This helps them lay out everything that they need to work on, and so the client knows exactly what they need to do. And to like evaluate the progress throughout the case, the client will meet with the caseworker and they will reevaluate, and the caseworker just kind of looks at their progress and sees if they have done the things that are on their prevention plan, and if they are still working towards the objective of their case. So for my evidence-based practice, I used a client as an example for most of it. So the client in this example was a mother of two who were physically disabled. She's 21 years old and she's a single mother and was referred to protection and permanency by her doctor for neglect. She is having a hard time accepting and coping with the seriousness of her children's diagnoses. She's begun to show signs of feeling overwhelmed and depressed, most likely due to having to care for two children with physical disabilities. Her older son, he was about 7, I think, and then her younger son was diagnosed at the age of 3. And so when she found out that the younger one had the same disability as her older one, that's when she started showing these signs. And so it really, I think it just really hit her, and it just became overwhelming. But according to a study conducted by Gilson, in 2018, 22% of mothers of children with a disability out of 294 participants reported having suicidal ideation or attempts within the past year. The same author also explains that mental health is the key factor to a mother's engagement with society, their community, and their child's health and well-being. So if a mother is not feeling mentally prepared to take on the role as a caregiver, I mean, it really just affects the whole outcome. It just won't work without it. So for the new research directions, I continue to use the same client as my example, and I researched some different ways that we could implement change within that. One of the authors that I used as a resource suggested that changing the system from the root of the problem, so that would be just the healthcare system, that would make the biggest change, because the problem seems to lie within doctors and nurses, and they don't know exactly what to do or how to refer clients, mothers specifically who are struggling with parenting. They don't know how to refer them to people for those issues. So I think maybe some training on their end or some kind of different approach would be very beneficial. Clark County Protection and Permanency can benefit greatly by researching the effect that caring for a physically disabled child may have on the caregiver. So this is a topic I never really even considered or thought of until I saw it happen when I was researching this client. But mothers who are parenting children with disabilities, they struggle a lot. They're isolated, they are overwhelmed, they're tired, they're probably depressed and have anxiety. They have a lot to worry about, medical bills and they have a lot on their plate. And so I think Clark County could really benefit from just looking into that more and helping out their clients. So for class application, Concept 1, I used evidence-based practice. The 5 critical steps, they include converting information into answerable questions, tracking down the most relevant and useful evidence to answer said questions, appraising evidence in terms of validity, significance, usefulness, and integrating appraisal within one's clinical expertise, and evaluating one's effectiveness. By completing this assignment, it helped me understand the importance of evidence-based practice and how the proper steps to research should be taken and how they can really form your knowledge. For Concept 2, I chose single subject designs. So by using single subject designs, I was able to research this one specific client and develop new ways that the agency could help empower them. The client was struggling with mental health, and so in order to encourage a positive outcome, I determined target behavior to the client's mental health. To ensure the improvement of her mental health, I would monitor her behavior over a period of time, and that period of time would just depend on a multitude of things, just how serious things are. By completing this assignment, I now better understand how single subject designs can be directly applied to a client. My third concept that I chose was group design, and group designs are useful when the researcher is concerned with the group averages rather than one individual client. And so for this, in my assignment, I was able to apply it to the case that I was looking at, because it could be used to determine common causes for referrals among clients, especially if we have more mothers who are referred to us for neglect. Due to if they have children who have physical disabilities, that could be if that is a common occurrence, then we should be able to look at that and figure out how we can help the mothers or caregivers and see what kind of supports they are lacking. And these are my references, and that is it.